welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where we have plenty more Barca news coming your way because we're going to talk a lot more today about Hansi Flick, about the early impact that he's had, about what we've learned about the type of coach he's going to be for us, and he has spoken. We're going to be discussing his words along with the latest on transfers, a Mikel Merino update, and big developments on Dani Olmo. But we're going to be discussing exactly how Barca should be spending their funds this summer. Are we getting a bit distracted? It is all coming your way, so let's do it. But first of all, guys, we have some very kind super thanks donations coming in here. One from Jimmy, thank you very much for your support. And I had one here coming in from Nigeria. In your enthusiastic voice, please say Ankara Messi, Ankara Messi, Ankara Messi, from the famous goal, of course, Barca against Getafe, when Messi shredded their entire team. But look, I cannot do that incredible, legendary piece of commentary and goal justice. But thank you for the great support. But I want to start here, guys, with some big words, actually, from Hansi Flick. And by the way, that in itself is big news. The fact that Flick has spoken publicly, because since he's actually arrived at Barcelona, he has been incredibly withdrawn from the media. He has been so calculated about the way he's gone about his work, and I think what he's tried to do is work in silence. That is something, of course, that Xavi tried and wanted to do when he was the coach, but of course he was Xavi. He was known, of course, in Barcelona. He was close to many people within the city. They all knew him so well. With Hansi Flick, though, he's able to do that. He is somebody brand new coming into the club, and I think he's been very wise about the way that he's approached the media. No official press conference yet. He is collecting all the information. He's getting all the facts. He wants to be 100% prepared when he does face them, and that's a smart man, because he knows what he's facing there. He understands the job he's walked into. But I also just want to stress here, that doesn't mean there's not respect there between Hansi Flick and the journalists in Barcelona, because actually there was an open training session at the club on Friday that allowed the journalists to get into the inner circle, really, for a rare occasion during training, and Hansi Flick actually personally greeted and shook hands with all of the journalists that were there at the club. And that is something, by the way, that has never happened before. You know, the club might let them in, they might let a select amount of journalists there be part and see what's happening in the session, but to actually go and personally greet them, shake their hand, that's a good first impression. And I think Hansi Flick here is firm, he's a hard coach, he's very calculated in what he does, but he's also approachable, and that could be the kind of balance that we need to deal with the difficult media. Let's face it, difficult media that we have here at Barca. But like I say, Hansi Flick has finally spoken. He's actually been talking there to Barca's in-house media channel, and we've got really an extract from that interview, which will be fully available on Monday. But we got some really interesting words even before then, because he said straight away, from the very first day at Barca, I felt the passion from everybody, the fans, the president, everybody here who works at Barca. They all have the passion for the club and a devotion to help give their best. And this is a big thing for us. He said, because we want to be part of this. Me and my staff, we want to be part of this club. And I think that quote there again, guys, that is why players, coaches, they want to come to Barca. They want to experience exactly that there. When you walk into this club, you feel it. There is a passion, there is an energy, there's an excitement that you can't get anywhere else. You know, when things are feeling good, looking good, there are emotions that you simply will not experience anywhere else. And he said, we want to work with this kind of passion, and we want to work with this kind of devotion, because he said we will give everything that we have to bring this club to the next level. And Hansi Flick here, he does seem like somebody who from the very beginning, as soon as there was a possibility there could be an opening at Barca, he wanted this job, and he stayed, he waited, he researched, he was learning Spanish, he was looking for backroom staff. Even before he knew he was coming, he was determined to be here with us. And he said, when I decided to first become a coach, I followed Barca immediately. He said because they played fantastic football and because of the way that they develop players. And he said this is why now we are so happy to be here. I've always wanted to be here. And what he went on to say then, which I think is absolutely incredible, he said, I want to say thank you to La Masia. He said, because from what I am seeing in these first training sessions, it's unbelievable. He said normally when international players are on holiday, when they're away, and you bring in many youth players, the quality in training drops. He said here, that is not the case. And I think that's extraordinary. And think about if you're a young player coming through, think about there if you're in La Masia, part of those training sessions, what that's going to make you feel like right now. Because Flick apparently has been so surprised with the level. Lots of young players there, lots of players getting opportunities, and he's looking at all of them. He's thinking, wow, these guys can actually make it at the club. And by the way, Flick seems like a coach who will actually use them. Because sometimes with Barca, why we always stick with coaches there that know the club, that are from the academy, that understand Barca, is because we think they'll use La Masia. And from the outside, we worry that maybe coaches won't do that. But Flick doesn't seem that way at all. He has always appreciated La Masia, the young players at this club, one of the driving reasons why he wanted to be here in the first place as the coach, and I truly believe he will look to the youth academy. And I think it was very interesting indeed then, because off the back of that open training session there, several journalists were able to get more of a feel for what Flick is demanding from his squad. And as you can see here on the headline of Sport Today, it says, Flick's handbook, after just 10 days as the new Barcelona coach, it is already crystal clear what he expects from his players. And they got 4 bullet points there as to what Flick has been doing so far. The first one is he wants a good chemistry within the squad. He wants to see here a tight-knit group of players who play for each other, who win together and who lose together and stick together at all times. And number 2, maximum importance to the physical condition of the team. He sees the physical side of things as the top priority to ensure that Barca can compete against any rival. Number 3, practically all of the physical work that is being done at the club right now is being done with the ball. Real emphasis there on having it, on using it and being comfortable with it, of course. And number 4, just like Xavi when he first arrived, Flick there has established a clear policy surrounding training sessions, about meals at the club, and the free time that is going to be spent as a group as well. So already here, in a sheer number of days, Flick has a clear idea about what he wants, he has a plan in place to achieve it, and I'm not done yet, because when we're speaking about the attention to detail on the physical side of things, I think that could be highlighted by what we are hearing here about Ansu Fati, for example, because during that open media training session on Friday, it was actually noticed there by journalists that Ansu Fati was following a completely different warm-up routine to his teammates there. He was doing different stretching exercises. Ansu could also be seen working individually with Flick's backroom staff on his own, and the reason for that is Hansi Flick's staff are carefully managing Ansu with a specific plan in order there to improve his physical condition and also to prevent injury problems. And that is something they've been working on here already in pre-season, and it will continue as the season progresses. And I think what you see there, again, is a real attention to detail, understanding that every player, they might need something different. You can't just treat everybody the same, put them through the same drills, same exercises. Some players' bodies will require different kinds of attention. And I think in the case of Ansu here, that's got to give him confidence, surely, there, to actually know and understand here. The coaching staff, they're looking after me. They are looking after my best interest. They have a set plan, a set idea laid out for me, and I can follow that now and have confidence again in my body. That is what he has been lacking now for the last year, 2 years. And to have that plan in place for him, courtesy of Flick, that can only help him. But of course, guys, make no mistake at all that the summer transfer window will also be very key in Hansi Flick's project at Barca. We have to get the right players in. We have to spend our money very, very wisely indeed. And let's start with an update on Mikel Merino, because for that, we've got to actually look at what Atletico Madrid are doing, because they are closing in actually on the signing of another one of Spain's Euro winners, Robin Lenormand from Real Sociedad. But however, word has emerged now in the past 24 hours that Atleti are actually trying now to do a double deal with Real Sociedad. They don't only want the talented centre-back, but they also want to add Mikel Merino to that deal. Atleti want both players, but right now, it should be stressed, Merino is not given his okay to Atletico Madrid. He is still waiting to see what Barca are doing. Are they going to make a move for him? Are they going to make a concrete proposal to him before he makes any final decision on that Atleti interest? He's waiting, but you do feel like the clock is ticking here. Are we going to move for Merino? Are we still looking in his direction? Is he a priority for the club? All of these questions you feel will be answered soon, because then we have to talk about Dani Olmo. That is the huge topic right now in the Catalan media. Every day, I think we move closer to Dani Olmo, or at least more keen on his signing there in terms of the club. They seem very, very set on trying to sign Olmo this summer, and he, of course, has a €60 million release clause at RB Leipzig right now. But the interesting thing is, today, 20th of July, it comes to an end. That release clause technically will expire today, but it's already being said that either Dani Olmo's representatives there have convinced RB Leipzig to extend that clause a little bit further, a few more weeks maybe of having that 60 million clause, or it's also very possible that Leipzig actually have an agreement with Dani Olmo when it comes to Barca, that if Barca make an offer for the player, they will still allow him to go for that 60 million amount, regardless of whether that release clause is in place. So right now, what we do know, we seem to be talking about a 60 million deal, which, let me say, massive money, absolutely huge money there for a great player, but it's big money. However, it is also very possible that Barca are not going to offer all of that up front. It is not going to be like the Nico deal, for example, a release clause there that must be paid all at once, all in one. What we're hearing right now is that the final amount could reach 60 million, but it's a combination of fixed payment and with variables in that deal, which of course is still a lot of money, but it may not be 60 million full on. It may be so much plus this in add-ons, which could then total 60 million. But then you've also got the reported contract, because the big word right now in the Catalan media, the big advancement that we've made, apparently Barca have offered Olmo a 6-year deal. I mean, that's a long contract. That is a very long-term deal there. But of course, what that enables Barca to do is, first of all, spread the cost of those wages of that contract across multiple years from an accounting point of view. But it also means that Olmo would earn less in the first 2 years of that deal, and then it would start to increase apparently from the third year. That's the way that Barca seem to be doing things right now. It's exactly the same for the Nico Williams deal. But obviously right now, guys, the big question I think on all of our minds is, can we actually not only sign Nico and Olmo? That appears to be the aim of the club, to sign both of those players. Not just can we, but should we? Do we need Nico and Olmo as a duo? And if we do sign them, of course, surely that means nobody else, not really in the team. You can't really spend all of that money and still have money left over. And then what I'd say is, what is the plan in midfield then? Because right now it seems as though we're targeting Nico, the left wing needs targeting. Then to go after Olmo on a 60 million deal, do we even want to pivot anymore? Are we even still looking at a defensive pivot? I don't think we are. I don't think it seems right now to be a priority. Have the plans changed? Because maybe if it was a priority, you could actually use that 60 million on Martin Zubimendi, another Real Sociedad player here who has been so impressive. You think there about the Euro final, when Rodri went off injured for Spain, everybody was fearing the worst. He is such an immaculate player in midfield. Everybody thought Spain won't really be able to recover in that position in this game. Zubimendi came on and Spain did not miss Rodri. And that is an almighty compliment, by the way, given the way Rodri has been performing for many years now. Zubimendi was absolutely fantastic in that final. He's a top player, and like I say, he's available. Yeah, it's big money, but it could be spent in a different area. So I just think right now, guys, looking at these targets for Barca, Nico, Olmo, both of them, we want both. something must have changed. I do not now believe any longer that we're targeting a top defensive pivot. Maybe the structuring in midfield with Hansi Flick is going to look a bit different. Maybe we're looking at the options that we have. Maybe we're looking at the team and the players at our disposal, and the system may well change, because right now it's not a priority. We're not looking at defensive-minded midfield players, and instead we are going out and actively targeting Dani Olmo, who, let me maintain, is a great player. I am not saying by any means here that he wouldn't be a very good signing, but I am just a bit surprised. I am honestly surprised here that we have changed that direction when it seemed almost certain that defensive midfield player was the #1 priority. It was the one position that we really felt we needed, and now are we veering away from that? And guys, what would be your reaction if those plans have changed? If Barca target Nico and Olmo and not really anyone else? Do you feel confident? Do you believe here that Flick can find a way to make all of that work, to make the midfield function even without a pivot signing? Let me know in the comments down below exactly what you're feeling right now, and these are going to be big and important days in the transfer window for Barca. I will catch you soon with all of the latest updates, and I thank you indeed for joining me. But until next time, guys, as always, Visca, El Barça.